Welcome back to the A2B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship. We are back in 2024 with a bang. As always, I am joined with my co-host.
That was flexing. That was a lot of
flexing. I'm trying.
Well, you do a couple weeks in Puerto Rico. I mean,
hey, do we want people to know about my experiences in Puerto Rico? Hey, listen, if you follow
he's a
me
family
on Instagram,
man.
Listen, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know how it went down in Puerto Rico. It was very fun. I actually went. The trip actually started in Miami, believe it or not.
Okay.
So I went to Miami.
He didn't put in an out-of-bounds chit, you guys.
I didn't need to because I am fully out of the Marine Corps. Actually, we're going to talk about that a little bit. I got a message from a master sergeant that he is the prior service recruiter trying to get me to go back.
The good old PSR.
We'll see what happens with that. But guys, today I am repping Skinny Kings right here. Hey, listen, right here. Skinny Kings. This is an active duty Marine staff sergeant. He is also a drill instructor currently in the drill field, and he has his own clothing
We're
company.
at Paris Island or San Diego?
No, San Diego.
So he's a real...
But here's the thing. And you know what? When we create
He probably ITs recruits.
I'm going to tell you
and
something.
yells at... I'm kidding.
Let me tell you something. When we create the company of the A2B podcast, the first one that's going to put an HR complaint is going to be me. Because you have...
You know what you do.
No, you know what you do.
You
know what you do. Anyways, guys, today we are joined by none other than Chelsea Jones, Master Gunnery Sergeant Jones, active duty Marine, guys. She is Chelsea. It is an honor to have you here. I appreciate you are. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. I really wanted this interview to happen because I really want to bring current perspective into what's really going on right now in the Marine Corps. And we were talking off camera a little bit, and just by the little nuggets that you were giving us, I can already tell that this is going to be a very meaningful conversation. Guys, Master Gunnery Sergeant Jones, she joined the Marine Corps in 1995. Woo! Take that, bull. Woo! She's senior to you by 3 years. Okay?
Ouch.
So she joined in 1995. She has an engineering background. From there, she lat moved into a 0431. And then from a 0431, she was also a drill instructor at 4th Recruit Training Battalion. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that as the podcast progresses. And then now she is currently stationed here in Camp Pendleton, and we're also going to be talking a little bit more about that as well. Chelsea, correct?
Chelsea. Yes.
Chelsea.
Yes.
Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Well,
first of all, 1995 was a long time ago.
Slightly.
Right? We were talking about that off camera.
Yep.
Gas was $1.15, but you said you could get it for 65 cents?
Yeah, I remember it being about 65 cents at Camp Lejeune.
Wow.
Michael Jordan, the internet was invented, you guys. That was the year. Yeah, Michael Jordan came back to the NBA. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, welcome. Now, the first question that I have for you is, what made you want to do this podcast and come to the A2B podcast?
I think that there's a perspective that I have in years of service and being a woman in the military that you guys really haven't explored much. Yeah. And so I definitely want to jump in on that and see what I can provide. I'm retiring this year.
Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, 30 years. It'll be 30 years. But November 7th, if you guys want to show up, MLG Front Lawn.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm finally at a place in my career where I have so much to offer and it's coming to an end. So this platform, your platform, you guys, was a place to share that, and it's forever on the internet. So at any time, anybody could reference.
For sure.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate that. And you're 100% right. We have not explored that because, and it's not because of lack of trying, I'll tell you that. It's because a lot of people are not willing to share that story. You know, whether it'll be for, I don't know, bad experiences that they had in the military, or whether it'll be because they're still active and they don't, they're afraid of the repercussions.
Yeah.
So that's why. So I definitely appreciate that, and I hope that you are a beacon for people to continue to share their positive stories about their influence in the Marine Corps. So thank you for
Thanks.
that.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, I am. I am. This is. I keep throwing it out though. You know, this is. If we don't get somewhere, this is my last year. This is like this is like a narcissistic relationship where like we have all these promises and it never follows through, right? So I don't know. I told all my cowboy friends that as soon as I get my driver's license changed, I'm going to be picking a new team. I bought a house here. I plan on staying here. So
nice.
We'll see. But, man, we're doing pretty good, though. 12-5.
So let me ask you, like, you're in Texas. That's like a super, like, I'm not from Texas. I see it as like a super patriotic, like, place. Were your parents patriotic? What do you think, like, influenced you to, like, move toward the Marine Corps, military in general, to like make that decision?
My parents were not, like, I did not grow up in a super patriotic area. Like, I grew up in the city, predominantly Hispanic. My mom's Mexican, my dad's white, 6 brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest girl, one older brother. But
wow, that's a big family.
It was. Yeah. What made me join was I didn't have a lot of opportunity where I was at. My grades weren't good enough to go to college. All I wanted to do was play sports. And we were pretty poor. We were a pretty poor family. And getting out of there as soon as possible was my goal. A lot of people don't know this, but the whole world's about to know. I was actually in the Texas Army National Guard first.
Whoa.
Really?
Whoa, little militia-ish.
They offered us to go to boot camp in my junior summer year. Then you were supposed to come back and complete like your senior year, and then you were, supposed to go to your MOS school. But where we drilled was right next door to 4th Recon Battalion.
Wow.
So we were out there one day, and I saw the guys out there in their uniforms. And I hated our little Army uniform, that ugly cover. It was terrible.
Even the Army hates our uniform,
the Marine
guys.
Corps uniform.
Even the Army hates our uniform,
it was
guys.
just, whatever. Anyway,
It's terrible.
So the long of the short of it was I had an opportunity to get out of the Army National Guard because of a contract defection. They couldn't send me to my school within the time frame that they were supposed to. So I just got out, and immediately I went to the Marine Corps recruiter. I want to do this full time.
Wow.
I want to do it full time.
I mean, you're already used to fighting at that point. You've got, your family, your siblings.
Yeah.
You're like, let's get down.
I need to see if I can get some money out of it.
You know?
So I did that, and a few months later, I was in Marine Corps recruit training, and I knew early on this was going to be it for me. I was going to make this I was going to ride this train as far as I could.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I knew early.
Like, how did you? That just automatic.
Pay was good. Benefits were good.
Well, because you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
People are like, Master Guns, how did you make it so far? What made you want to stay to 20, 30, right? People ask me all the time.
The alternative was not better than my current situation. The alternative was going back home. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go back home, work at HEB, go to community college. I didn't really want to go to school to begin with. And I knew that was really one of the only ways to grow in life and in career was I had to go to college. And when I was getting the things that I wanted, which was deployments, duty stations, I was having a good time, I was having fun, I just kept going.
Yeah. So what do you say to Marines who decide that they want to get out and they come to you? Like, what kind of a leader are you? What would you say? Hey, Master Guns, it's not for me.
Let's talk about it. Like, let's go through the reasons you want to get out, because those things aren't going to exist forever. You're not going to be a lance corporal or a corporal forever. If you put in the effort, and it doesn't have to be max effort, it just has to be enough effort to grow, you're going to see yourself picking up sergeant, becoming a staff sergeant, moving into different billets, being able to accept different orders, going to different places. If you're looking for that, I wouldn't base one enlistment on your like entire career.
Yeah. That's definitely true. I hate, that's something that I always tell Marines as well. Do not base your whole Marine Corps experience on your first duty station.
Yeah.
Because it is not. Like, it is
Well,
not.
we got people out there watching right now. They're like, okay, I'm on duty station number 2, Albert, and it sucks.
True, but I've always said that every duty station and every workplace, it is 100% what you make of it. Because you get, like, let's say, for example, let's put recruiting.
Sure.
Right? Let's put recruiting for.
Which why would you ever do that to yourself?
But that's what a lot of people say, right?
That's a bad
That's the
choice.
mentality. That's the mentality behind going on recruiting duty, because you hear the staff sergeant, you hear this gunny, and we talked about it plenty of times in this podcast.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the staff sergeant, the gunny's like, don't do it. You know, recruiting
they're
sucks.
coaching them how to get out of it.
Yeah, so that's what
Literally.
I'm saying. So recruiting sucks, but no, recruiting doesn't suck. Recruiting sucks for you because of the mentality that you have. Same thing happens with you whenever you are at a duty station. You know, it didn't suck. It sucked for you because you decided to take your environment and you decided to be a product of your environment.
Yeah, but I got to call you out a little bit, man, because you got out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Why? Because you said every month it was like no matter how hard you worked, they kept throwing the stones to you, and eventually you got to a point where it was like.
So
okay.
let me correct a little bit, because I did say something amongst those lines,
Yeah.
right? But it wasn't that specifically. The part that I got tired from was that every 3 years or every 4 years you get orders to a radical different place, and then what does the Marine Corps tell you? Grow where you're planted. Am I right? That's what the Marine Corps tells you. Yeah, but whenever you're establishing roots in a place and all of a sudden the Marine Corps grabs you and yanks you out and then just plants you there, it's like, go, buddy. We're going to give you minimal water and we're going to give you, and then you have to do the majority of work. That things get tiring.
I see what you're
tiring
saying.
for me.
I'm not
saying obviously Master Guns is going to be different because she's 29 years into it, 30 years this year, and then obviously she was able to make it work. I'm not saying that it wasn't going to work for everybody. I said that it wasn't going to work for me. Maybe some people resonates with me. It's like, man, I'm tired of this, man, because
You're describing difficulties that you had on recruiting, but that's not why you got out. You got out because,
we know
what was it? Talent management.
We all know
and
what
your
we got
family issues, right?
We're not
I get
gonna,
what you're saying.
We're not going to touch talent management on this podcast because I don't want to compromise our guest. Okay, but here's what a question that I have for you.
Okay.
How was your experience during boot camp in 1995 as a female?
My experience was the exact same experience in 95 as when I went to be a drill instructor in 2005. Wow. It was the same experience. Yeah, but it was not, obviously at that time, we were not integrated.
Didn't wear campaign covers in 95.
Right, yep.
So that's
really?
Yeah, women didn't wear 90. I don't think we get 96 I think is when they started wearing them. But it was still as demanding, as difficult. The training schedule was relatively the same. Yeah. I don't remember there being a ton of differences when I went to be a hat and when I was a recruit.
Was there like a movie that you watched and you're like, like Full Metal Jacket or something, and you're like, this is Marine Corps boot camp? Because like I said, I've talked about, we didn't have YouTube.
Yeah,
right? There wasn't like a video you could go watch.
I know this is hard to believe, but I was like a really strong-headed person. Like I didn't really feel
that is not hard to believe.
I know it's hard to believe, but
that's because you look intense.
But I thought Army recruit training was really not that difficult, and given the opportunity to go do something harder, I was like, I'm doing this.
You wanted the challenge.
I'm doing this. I want to see if I can do this.
Okay, so if you're out there, it was the uniforms.
Uniforms were different.
And the challenge.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to test your memory right now.
Uh-oh.
So whenever you went to that recruiting office, did your recruiter put benefit tags in front of you?
No.
Yeah.
Because you probably just went in there and were like, hey, I'm ready for this.
I'm here. Sign me up.
Right.
I'm done.
You're a Texan. Let's do it.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I'm like, let's go. Okay. And set me up for the IST. Nailed that.
Yeah.
I was gone in probably within 4 months.
What was
I was done.
Yeah.
That's pretty average.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's cool.
Well, actually, not for females.
Yeah.
Because females, no, because you guys didn't have to do pull-ups back then, or did you? No. But now, when I was a recruiter, females had to do at least one pull-up.
Yeah.
And that to go to boot camp.
Right.
In order for them to graduate, they needed to be doing, I think it was at least 3. So that's a challenge, dude.
So like when you're sitting there, you're on the quarterdeck, it's Paris Island, 1995, your drill instructors march out of the duty hut, or what's going through your mind? You're like, whoa.
Let's get it.
Man, she's a hard charger, man.
I'm serious.
I'm telling you. I was like, I'm here.
Like I knew, I just knew. I knew early on that this was something I was good at based on the way I was raised, based on you know a lot of other factors. But I knew early on, like I did not want the Marine Corps to tell me to leave. I wanted to leave on my own terms, and there's probably nothing I wouldn't do to stay. If my sergeant major was like, "Go cut the grass with nail clippers," I sergeant major. Like I would probably do those things. Because I didn't
love the Marine Corps that much.
No, I hated I hated the opportunities that didn't exist where I came from more. It wasn't like I don't want to give off this idea that I'm like this uber patriotic person because I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's about opportunity, and the opportunities just didn't exist in you know. I wouldn't say hometown USA because San Antonio is a huge place, but like in the bubble that I grew up in.
Yeah, I'm gonna share something with you guys. So whenever I was in Miami, I went to a convention. It was the real estate summit for Grant Cardone. Great event. Okay, I would say about 10% of the most richest people were in that convention in the United States, not the world, but in the United States. So there was a lot of veterans there too, by the way. And I asked, I was blessed, to be honest with you, to be able to ask them one singular question. I'm talking about veterans that were making $700,000 a year. Veterans that were like doing really well in life. And I was able to ask, she wasn't a veteran. Her name was Stephanie. She owns 60% of all the ATMs in the United States.
Come on.
Can you believe that?
That's the gift that keeps giving.
And I asked her one question. I was like, Stephanie, I got a question for you. Why is it that you feel that veterans do not get afforded the opportunity to get to where you're at right now? And you know what she said? Exposure. And dude, that's just that one word just unlocked a whole different level in my mind. Because think about what she's saying right now.
Sure.
She is content with the Marine Corps. She's super happy with the Marine Corps because where she comes from, the Marine Corps offered her everything that she didn't have. So I'm pretty sure that when you get out after 30 years, you're gonna be like, I'm happy with my life. I'm so thankful for everything that happened in my life. And then that's the problem that she was saying, that Stephanie was saying. It's like you're so content because you come from this. And then when the military offers you this opportunity, that's it. You're happy. Yeah. You have a retirement for the rest of your life. You have a roof under your head. You have a way to sustain your family. You can probably get a decent job so you don't strive for what really is going to create the wealth that, you know, we have. But in reality, it was because of why? She's like, yeah, my family is kind of spoiled. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that there's what she's... The demographic of Marine that we recruit from just doesn't have the background to know of these opportunities that are available.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
But the opportunities do exist.
Yes.
You know, coming in with tuition assistance, being able to get your degree while you're on active duty, transfer your GI Bill benefit to your spouse or your child, and give them that same opportunity while at the same time exploring, you know, outside the military opportunities is a thing. Social media definitely has improved that and increased those benefits. But like Bull and I were talking earlier, that it wasn't that it wasn't available. It just wasn't easily and readily available like it is today. You can be in one state and be running a business from a different location. We have Marines doing it today, you know. Yeah. Just like your staff sergeant, Skinny Kings, you know, he's running a business while he's on active duty.
Sure.
So I do think the opportunities exist. It's just that our demographic of young Marine isn't exposed to those things yet.
Yeah, it's not exposed. Well, you know what? We can talk about the junior Marines, but I'm even talking about even the senior leaders. You know, at you guys is like, I got out as a gunny, right? But sure. you guys are like gunnies right here. Like once you get to that like senior master sergeant and freaking master guns and sergeant major, that's like a whole different type of level, right?
Well, that's why I told you the story about Sergeant Major Scott Helms. I don't know if you ever knew him. He was the MCI West Sergeant Major, and he had to he didn't come to me. I went to him, but I was the H&S Company First Sergeant, so like I brought him his checkout sheet and stuff like that. And I just asked him, you know, it was 30 years. I was like, He literally looked at me. He's like, I'm scared. I've like had to work until the last second, the last day. There wasn't like a time I could like, you didn't have Skill Bridge at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. I think this was in, 2015 maybe.
Is that something that happens to you at your position?
No.
So,
I have all the time in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. Put M, Marines. Put M.
I agree with you.
All right, guys.
I
Shots
agree with
fired.
you.
Shots
no.
fired.
No shots fired. That's
Hold on.
the
You
reality.
never wanted to be a first sergeant.
I did. And I
knew it.
had
I
a
knew it.
video.
You guys
And I had a video.
Message her.
But listen, the universe will give you what you need. And it was probably 2 years into being a master sergeant when I realized like that was really not for me. I was not cut out to be a 89, 99.
Yeah. The politics. I hate the politics of it.
That time, your time is not really your time. Like you're on everybody else's time schedule. Being a master sergeant and for sure a master of guns, like your schedule is what you make it.
Yeah.
And the opportunities to do the things that you want to do are there. Like I've never worked for an 89, 99 and I said, hey, I want to put together a leadership seminar and they said no. Never.
I'm telling you. I'm
telling you.
I
are
wanted to be a
uncommon.
master sergeant too.
You don't need my endorsement on that, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. You're uncommon. You come in here looking athletic. You know what I mean? You're squared away. And what I'm trying to say, she does have a sergeant major in there. You guys, it's he or she.
Well, she
is
was a
in
drill
the,
instructor.
That's right.
She was a drill instructor. So
She was out
let's
there
start,
killing them.
Let's get to that part, right?
Okay.
So you graduated from Paris Island, and then you had an engineering background, and then you lab moved. How was
did.
that transition from your current, engineering background into, the logistics piece?
I moved out of the engineer background because it wasn't mentally stimulating. Like I didn't feel like I was getting much out of it. And I wanted to move into something that was more, I was a bulk fuel specialist, by the way. I wanted to move into something that was, I can use this if I want to get out, I can use this experience.
Well, what was it like checking into your first unit? Like, just
Scared. Yeah, I was afraid. Of course, like it was like a healthy fear though of like wanting to be, the right Marine. Like I wanted to do the right thing and be a part of the team and be, coming into the unit.
Was there people that made language towards women?
Oh yeah.
Inappropriate jokes. I mean, because you got to remember, right?
Yeah, back then.
You had to write handwritten letters back then.
Yeah, we did.
Straight up.
Yes.
Being serious.
So in 1995, you still walked into the Marlboro girl in her scantily clad clothing, pictures on the wall, and your staff and CEOs still had bikini models hanging on their wall lockers.
Like a hog board. Did they do?
Yeah, they definitely had all that.
You guys
back
don't
then.
know what that is. A hog board is just what she's talking about. Centerfolds and inappropriate models and whatever the case. Okay.
And so I can't remember exactly, but it was within not long that those things started coming down.
Sure.
It started coming down.
Now, when you became an NCO, a corporal, and the reason why is because I've heard several podcasts. It doesn't come to my mind. I'm trying to think of the one.
Yeah.
But there's several podcasts that says that, and I want you to corroborate this information.
Okay.
Whenever you became an NCO, is it true that you have to be a bitch in order for you to be a successful NCO as a female?
We call them professionals. You have to be a professional.
I mean, but you know what I mean.
I knew she was gonna get you, dog.
You know what I mean.
But
yeah,
you went for it. I love you because you went for it.
It's
Because
not,
and I appreciate that because that is a common
we hear
misconception.
it, though. You gotta be a BITCH.
You don't. You just can't be. You can't be as friendly as you think your male counterparts are.
Explain.
Men size each other up. You meet each other and you're immediately, without even thinking about it, you're already sizing that guy up. Can I beat his ass or not? That's what you're thinking to yourself.
That's very true. No, that's true. That's true.
You do that.
You looked at me and what? Damn, dog. I thought we were talking.
You do that. You do that. You know what I mean?
Albert wants to fight me, you guys.
So-
I'm a non-violent person.
Go ahead.
So if you're already an atypical junior Marine and you have an attitude and like, I'm not listening to females, I'm not going to win the fight, physical fight. So me coming at you in the manner in which it's going to provoke that situation is not conducive to me as a leader because I'm going to lose. So you got to realize early on that I have to figure out other ways to make sure you understand, number one, I'm not joking. Number two, what I say we're going to do, we're going to do. Damn. And number three, whether you like it or not, it's going to get done.
I love that.
And so, being like, homies or homeboys or friends, it's not at a junior level, it's really not conducive for women to become in that position because you're going to see that you're going to lose a little bit of your authority and not really authority, but your power.
I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, there's going to be a moment where you may have to put that line in the sand, and because you've been being buddy, maybe it ain't going to work out the way you want.
And the sooner, I think what she's saying is the sooner that you draw that line, the better it's going to be. Because then you don't have to revert back, if you establish that timeline at the beginning, it was like, oh, shit, I can't fuck with her.
Okay, so you're my corporal. I'm your Lance Corporal PSC. Yeah. What's like a typical just, hey, we ain't friends. This is it. Bull, you're doing the X, Y, and Z. How do you?
Yeah, so it would be more along the lines of like, hey, Bull, go out to the flight line and see if you can find, whatever. Nah, I'm not doing that. Ain't no problem. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to write it up. Like, I am not going to put myself immediately upon becoming an NCO, you're going to have to establish yourself. And if that means, hey, you're going to get NJP'd, then that's just what's going to happen because I have to set a boundary and I can't beat your ass.
I love just you saying that, though. That's it. I'm going to write it up because I'm gonna write it up. At the same time.
Well, you would say that because you are a sergeant major.
Well, but dude, because you know how many times I've seen leaders, NCOs, staff NCOs, senior staff NCOs, officers come in my office and they're sitting there and it's been cover up after cover up, not documented after not documented. And all of a sudden, it's 7 days past late. It's broken beyond repair. Now we need master guns to fix it. We need sergeant major to fix it. And I'm sitting there going, dude, why didn't you guys write any of this down? You didn't write any of it down.
Same thing with non-recs. I want to non-rec that Marine on the 28th of the month. Okay, where's the paperwork?
Paperwork? I bring it up because as Marines, there is a real thing, and people still hit me up every single day about this. We always say, paperwork is bad. Handle it at the lowest level, right? And there's a lot of leaders that do a lot of weird stuff to avoid that.
If you have a good NCO corps, and Corporal Jones, newly promoted corporal, is having an issue with Lance Corporal Bull, who's a known problem. If the NCO corps in your shop is good, I won't have to. I wouldn't even have had time to say I'm going to write it up because those sergeants and other corporals would be right here
to back you up.
Yeah, true.
And very so true. When the junior Marines figure out that they're not going to be able to get over on your NCO corps, a lot of things are just resolved.
What do you say to people that say that women don't belong in the military?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? That's what I say. And I just let them talk. Why not?
It's just that here's what I'll tell you. And this happens a lot, not in the logistical world. Because in the logistical world, females have been in part of longer. What I see, that this is...
You're going to go combat arms.
Yes, the combat arms. I don't know if you knew this, Master, but I was 0811. I was a field artillery cannoneer, and then I lab moved as well into distribution management. Okay, and then I had a rough transition.
Yeah,
because of my background. Mm-hmm. I thought that, and the thing is that it wasn't because you're a female. It's because that's how I was used to just treating Marines in general.
What do you mean? Can you be real direct?
Of how I used to treat Marines? Oh yeah, I used to call them, "Come here, motherfucker! Come here, bitch!" I would snap at people. And then it was until one day that one of my Marines told me, it's like, "Hey, I ain't your fucking dog. Don't snap at me." And then I was like, that caught me by surprise, right? Because I was like, but he had a point. I was like, man, you're right.
Yeah.
That was the last time I snapped at a Marine. So that's why that like I'm talking about that type of stuff, like the way that you talk, "Come here, bitch," like that type of stuff. that was the type of stuff that I was used to saying in the Marine Corps. Also, you can, if you're in the field, I'm not saying like if you're in garrison, but if you're in the field and you see one of your Marines fucking up or not slacking up, putting hands on people is also not, it's not frowned upon. It's actually looked favorable upon.
That's the one that got me in trouble with one of my first NCOs.
Yeah, like
as I was a PFC.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is like you grab that person and then you know what I'm saying, like you make it move a little bit faster. I'm not saying like physically put hands on them, but that's something that I used to do, and that was a really rough transition.
So you're saying communities are different. So maybe not just women in the military, women in combat arms.
But something that I didn't understand.
Got it.
Listen, guys, regardless of, this is an institution. War-fighting institution.
Professional.
But an institution nonetheless. Mm-hmm. So you just got to adhere by the policies and standards that the institution sets forth.
Yeah.
So if the institution sets forth and says, listen, females are going to be in combat arms, aye, aye.
But it's only voluntary at this point. It is not mandatory. Women are not being put in combat arms MOSs without their, for lack of a better word, consent.
Yes.
Like you can't say like, hey, Jones, you're going into 0311. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Too bad. Like that's not the case. So it's a voluntary basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is thank you for the clarification. But if you feel so strongly about it, then listen, like Master Guns was saying, this is a voluntary force.
Yeah.
Feel so strongly about it, then get out. Get out. I feel strongly about something that I didn't agree with the Marine Corps. You know what I did? I got out of the Marine Corps. Hurts me every day that I think about it, but I got out of the Marine Corps because of those reasons.
We were talking off camera. You know, my biggest issue with women that join the Marine Corps is just that they do it for the wrong reasons sometimes. I love Master Gun's reason, like these opportunities were better. I had a lot of women that I worked with and they would be like, well, I was just trying to prove to this person and prove to that person. And I'm sitting there like, okay, but now you're here. Now you got to do the job. You're here for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Do things in your life because that's what is right for you.
But I would ask you, well, is that just aggregated to women, or do men do the same thing?
Men do the same.
Yeah, men probably do the same thing for sure. Like,
no, they do the same. I'm telling you, as a recruiter,
there
was my biggest struggle with it, and this.
I just can't relate to that. I can't relate to being like, I want to prove something to someone. It's like I don't know. You know.
This is one of the main reasons why there is a huge trouble in the Marine Corps. Is because recruiters train their police or the future Marines for them to go through boot camp. Boot camp is 3 months out of your freaking enlistment. Come on now. You know, like, what are we doing? And then you're not really setting the standard in order for them to be successful month 3 on forward.
Sure.
That's my biggest thing.
But here's my point. Yeah. Is it unique to females? No. But everything we know, the elephant in the room is like females got to do it a little bit more. They got to be a little bit more squared away, right? They got to be a little bit more hardcore. They got to be a little bit more this, a little bit more that. Because why? Because it's 91.2% male. So when a woman walks in the room, you got that much more eyes on you, you know? So no, it's not unique to females, but I feel that's the elephant in the room. It's like there is this, you know, now to your point though, right? Irene O'Neill, #1 mentor for me. Irene, if you ever see this, I love you. I'll do anything for you. I will come to Texas. I will drive. I will fly. She helped me from just early on in my career. Even to this day, we still keep in touch. You know, I'm not going to say she never yelled at me because she did. But at the same time, she was a kind of leader that just like, I don't know, man. She walked in a room. She's freaking, I don't even know. I think literally she might be 4 foot something. She just owned it, man. She didn't have to bark. She didn't have to pat herself on the back. She came in there with her Hershey bar shoes on her, you know, dude. And, you know, when she spoke kind of like this, and people wrote it down and people listened, and just because that's how she was. Everybody that knew her, man, she towed the line for 30 years, and her husband 30 plus years. So, you know,
her reputation preceded her.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, you didn't want to let her down.
Yeah.
She was this small in stature, but so large in life, like to me.
Mexicans, I got a question for you. Do you consider yourself an anomaly in the Marine Corps?
No, I don't think so.
The reason why I asked that, right, is because you're a very squared away Marine. You did 30 years, and you lab move, and because that's something that a lot of Marines don't do, or don't explore the option as much as they should.
Yes,
It's like,
I
man,
agree.
I love the Marine Corps, I just don't love my job, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know that because, and I feel that that's you. I feel that you love, again, not that you love, but it gave you better opportunities, and gave you more secure opportunities than what you actually had back home. So with you doing 30 years, and got into the level that you are right now at the G4, do you consider yourself an anomaly?
I think Sergeant Major Kirkby told me there was around about 66 women E9s in the Marine Corps today. I think
Hello.
I think that's what it was. I can't be sure. I'm not going to put 100% on it, but it was in comparison to the 2,000 men E9s, we were 100 or less. And so if you look at it in terms of that, sure. But only because I stayed in longer.
Now,
The women that I knew that got out early all had the potential and availability to be sitting exactly where I am today. They just walked
not
earlier.
to.
Yeah, they just walked earlier.
there's gonna be a lot of people, a lot of civilian people that probably see this podcast and don't understand what it really means to be an E9 in general, regardless of if it's male or female. What it
Yeah.
means to be an E9, the amount of sacrifices that you actually have to put, because there is so many times that you have to put the institution. That you have to put others before yourself in order for you to get to the position that you're on. Did you ever feel that you got taken advantage of professionally, in order, because of your love and your dedication to the institution?
Like they're just gonna keep working her to the bone
Yep.
type of thing.
Yep.
No, I never felt like that because I didn't compare. I tried not to compare myself to what other people were doing. Like I didn't look at someone else not doing something and think, why do you get to do that and I don't? I just wanted what I was responsible for to be done a certain way, and I wanted it to be squared away. Like what the gunny and admin was doing, or the gunny in the S3, I didn't care. Our shit was squared away, and I was good with that. My boss was taken care of. The Marines were good. We're good. But I also, it's a different topic, but it leads into like how we treat junior Marines. But I never felt like that. I never felt like, oh, this isn't fair. That's not fair. Like fairness is subjective. You're getting paid the same no matter what. How are you? But we're not going to get promoted the same. So I didn't really care about that so much.
I want y'all to listen to what Master Guns just said, because that is going to have a dramatic impact. Go back, rewind it seriously on your attitude. It's going to have a dramatic play your position.
Yeah.
You play your position. Don't be worried about this guy or gal over here, what they ain't doing, and jealousy, this and that. Are you doing what you're responsible to do, right? And I always used to tell Marines this. Hey, dog, step one, lead yourself.
Yeah.
You can't lead yourself. How am I supposed to entrust you to lead others? You can't even be where you're supposed to be at on time. That's like whatever, in the correct uniform. Whatever. Lead yourself. We're going to give you other people to lead and influence and impact, but play your position. Worry about your damn self, man.
What was your most favorite rank and your least favorite rank?
My most favorite rank was probably Master Sergeant. And my least favorite rank was probably Corporal.
Why?
Because Corporal, you're like a leader, but you're really not. You know? like you have a blood stripe and you have authority, but you're still trying to figure things out. You got
everybody testing you.
Yeah, like it was just a difficult transition at the time. Like you're really immature, number one. You're still really, really young, and you're given all this like authority, but you're not really good at it yet. You still haven't figured out how the system really works. So Corporal was probably the most difficult for me, and Master Sergeant was probably the best.
Was there ever anything in your career where you're like, dang, you know what? I might not make it to 20, or I might not make it to 30, or you know what? I might retire at this rank instead of that one, and then things changed, doors opened, and you just
Yeah, all the time. Like there were always times where I was thinking I'm ready to get out, or that maybe this isn't for me. Probably the first time that I thought I don't know if I could do this is when I had to drop my 6-week-old daughter off at daycare and go back to work.
Oh, wow.
6 weeks.
6 weeks old back then.
Wow.
You had 6 weeks.
What year was this?
This was 98. My oldest was born in 98.
Okay, so we were talking about this a little bit off camera. To the women out there and the men, especially, we need to be a lot more aware. For a woman, you know you're a career person. You said that you knew that from the start.
Yep.
Okay, having kids, balancing that with a career, deployments, being a drill instructor. What would you say to the women out there?
Pick your partner the best you can.
Yep.
I was really lucky, even though we're not married today. The kid's dad was fantastic when it came to supporting my career.
Was he also in the military?
Yeah, he was in the military. He was a gunnery sergeant and ended up retiring. And he was, Mr. Home Dad. He worked, but took care of all of those things. And so if you don't have a partner who's supporting you or who's putting in the work with you, sis, you're going to do it by yourself. You're going to do it by yourself.
Have you ever had a situation where a young lady comes to you and she says, Master Guns, I'm pregnant. She's been in a year, 2 years, and you know what her career progression, next steps. Do you ever go, what the hell?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Because they lose, and not because they're pregnant, because of the pregnancy itself per se, but because of the opportunities that they're going to
miss out on
at that rank being a young mom.
What are some things you see young women miss out on?
Deployments, opportunities to do billets that are hand-picked, hand-selected type billets that come about, yeah.
What would you say to or what advice would you give to those females that they have a kid? Now, they get what is it, like 4 or 5 months off?
6 months.
Postpartum. So they get 6 months.
Well, 3 months. They get 3 months off. Actual home with your baby.
Okay.
They get 3 months.
Okay, so 3 months you get, and then after that, within 6 months, she's pregnant again. And then that essentially is one enlistment.
Good job, girl. That's what I would say. Yeah. Because when you're trying to get back in, my advice to women would be this. When you decide you're going to grow your family, do it as close together as possible.
In the military?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can, because to go from your body having a baby to getting back in shape to being pregnant again to having to get back in shape, it's an arduous process. If you're going to do it, and my middle one is her and her partner are about to have a baby, get it out of the way. That's what I did.
Okay.
I did all mine as close as I could together, and that was
But I guess this is a subject of the conversation, and you probably had this subject of conversation before. And whenever it comes to okay, so the male is not, essentially he has to work for that year and a half, while that person is, while that female Marine gets essentially 6 months to 9 months off for those 2 pregnancies, right? So essentially, I guess I've heard it again. Me personally, I don't care because again, I don't look at what you were discussing.
I know
don't look
Albert's being professional. We're going to get a lot of hate on that one.
Yeah.
There's going to be, men always hate though.
Yeah, of course.
They're gonna hate
exactly.
on it.
I mean, I would be hating on me if I was better too. You know what I mean? Here's the thing that men don't realize because the guys that don't complain never say it, but you never hear top level Marines complain. They're going to perform no matter what. You never hear a 300 PFT, CFT man bitching and complaining about women's PT standards.
Someone just asked me this the other day. They're like, what's one of your favorite books? I said it was The Last Stand of Fox Company. Because one thing that all the Marines noticed when Captain Barber showed up to the company in North Korea in the wintertime, he never complained. right? Just like Tom Hanks tells Caparzo in Saving Private Ryan, I complain up the chain of command.
Not
I don't
down.
complain to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right.
but it's definitely, and man, this is so great, so much great perspective because you're giving me perspectives because I've heard those things and I don't even know how to respond. I'll be honest with you. I like when somebody tells me like, oh, well, yeah, but essentially she gets off like 6 months to a year.
Don't worry about it. It's not your, like, here's the thing. When you rack up all the things that women do in the Marine Corps, we've outpaced our male counterparts totally. When we're talking about time management, we're talking about the actual hours in the day that I'm putting in work. You're getting your time out of me. You're going to get your time out of me. I'm going to put in the time.
And
you know what I mean?
Real. There's just going to be a handfuls of people that's never going to be good enough anyways.
Yeah.
And they're going to complain.
Yeah, sure.
It's never going to be good enough.
Listen, men don't ever sacrifice. Like if you get 60 days convalescent leave, you don't go home and think, man, at 50 days, I really need to go back to work. Why would I? You know what I mean? You got convalescence leave, you know? Oh, you have shoulder surgery.
You know what?
And
day number 50, gosh darn it, I'm showing up.
I really need to go back to work.
And I'm PFT.
I wonder if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
You ain't even shaved.
And so why would you expect a woman, and to be honest with you, we have this conversation amongst ourselves as women.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, stop, and I've said it to women before, men don't do that. Men don't have convalescent leave and then think, they gave me 60, but I really need to come back at 30. Don't do it. They don't prepare themselves to go on convalescent leave. The day before, they let the first sergeant or the sergeant major know they're having surgery. And the day after surgery, they're on con leave for 60 days. You don't hear from them. They're not coming into the shop to talk.
Yeah.
Or they're not teams meeting in from their house. They're not doing that.
That's true.
Why would women feel any obligation to do that?
I went over this. And what do you think about the young woman, the prior drill instructor who made the video? And she said, if you are a woman on your first enlistment, you get pregnant, you should be administratively separated.
No, I don't think that.
Like,
we have a lot of work to do in our own community amongst women, and that's one of the things that I'm really trying to change the stigmata that we have amongst ourselves when it comes to each other, because there's never a good time to start a family. You have first sergeants who have waited years, master sergeants who have waited years to begin their family in their mid to late 30s, and it's still inconvenient for somebody.
Well, and I did a bunch of data mining on that whole thing. And it's like you're really talking about less than a handful of pregnancies per month, Marine Corps wide. 9-point-something% of the Marine Corps are women. You're talking about a vapor of a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. You're worried about other people.
Yeah.
That, to be honest, and over 37% of the DOD are parents. It's going to happen, and we want you to be parents. You know why?
Yeah.
Because you become a better service member.
Yes.
Right? It's like Mel Gibson said in We Were Soldiers. What's it like to be a lieutenant colonel, a battalion commander, and a dad? I hope being good at one makes me better at the other.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that's what it is, man.
And it begins the change in perspective when it comes to how people operate. Yeah.
Okay, now, when you checked in or have you dealt with this, I get this question all the time. Did you get hit on?
Oh, yeah.
Inappropriate staff NCOs.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm sure you deal with your junior women and so is it as bad as people say? What's it like?
Yeah, it's as bad as people say.
Still
to this day.
Okay, so can you share at least one experience that you feel comfortable of a staff NCO being inappropriate with you? And how do you put a stop to it? Because I want females, when they get something similar to this, put a stop to it very professionally.
She raised her eyebrows.
I'm not going to tell you the story because it is very, it's number one, it's vulgar. But at the time that it happened, there wasn't anybody to tell. There wasn't an EO. We didn't have a UVA. This was back in the late 90s.
Just a chain of command. That's all you had.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about those things. You didn't have bitch training or whatever training where you discussed, stuff like that.
For the record, she said bits. You
Yes.
guys, she said bits.
Bits.
Okay.
Bits or
Back in the
Yeah,
saddle.
back
back in the saddle or
Yes.
wherever you do your annual, whatever annual training
Yeah.
that's related to pack or
Sure.
sapper or whatever. That didn't exist back then.
So you just ate it, just stomached it, just freaking.
Yeah, and just couldn't wait to get out of there. Hoped you.
I'm sorry, but that can't be the right answer, though. I mean,
it
not
was back then.
maybe it was back then,
Yeah.
but right now, right? And of course, like we can say this, you're a master guns. If you see a staff NCO, if you see an NCO hitting or saying an inappropriate comment, I know for a fact you're going to say something.
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
going down.
Yeah, exactly. It's going down. But you're not there. PFC Lance Corporal gets hit on by a sergeant. Inappropriate comment, whatever it is. I don't know. I've never said. I don't even know where to begin because I never put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Right. But you've been in those situations. What I really want the person, it's like, how do I put a stop to it? Because the answer can be like, well, I can't wait to get out of there.
It's too late once it's said because I don't really have the authority to not act on what has happened. Like I'm not in a place where like I'm not the last person holding that secret. So you move it to the entity that it belongs to. If that's the EOA and this is an what do you call it? A informal resolution process situation, then we should handle it that way. But if it's not, then there's other ways to handle it. But just like you can't unfire a weapon, you can't take back what you said.
Yeah, but it's just that I can see this being very subtle or starting out very subtle because if you were a sergeant or senior sergeant and even a staff NCO, you ain't dumb.
Oh yeah, these are professional predators here.
Yeah,
we're not talking about. We're not talking about. We're not talking about. Corporal such and such who has a crush on the lance corporal over in S1. That's appropriate rank and grade and age. When you're a staff NCO, especially staff NCO, if you're a junior Marine and you have staff NCOs in your DMs, it's not a flex. You're being preyed upon. I'm letting you know now. You're being preyed upon. You're not special. He doesn't really like you. It's not going to last. 1. 2, if you're a staff NCO in somebody's DMs, she's going to tell. You're going to get in trouble. Prepare to get out of the Marine Corps. That's all I got to say about that. Like, I don't know why a man at that rank and grade would think some little young girl is going to keep your little secret.
First of all, it's just that it creates. This is one of my pet peeves. This is one of my pet peeves. Is like, man, like it's okay if you wanna like within reasonable, right? Like within your grade and like it's nothing. Like it's fine. But the fact that you are a staff NCO that's been in the Marine Corps 8-9+ years and then you're hitting on a freaking Lance Corporal, man, come on! Like what what are we doing, man?
Well, I just I think the question's appropriate because it's like there's memes everywhere about it, and it's like staff NCO Corps gets this whatever put some.
Yeah, it really like. You're not doing a favor to that Lance Corporal. As a matter of fact, what I would challenge you is on your security. Like, why are you preying on a way age, and not only that, professionally lower individual than you that I don't even know. It blows my mind. Like
you
I
can't
don't
even
know
comprehend.
Yeah, I can't even comprehend why somebody would actually freaking even do that, Now you have two. Is it a daughter and a son?
I have 3 kids. I have a daughter, 2 girls, and then my son.
And then which one of them are? There's 2 of them that are in the military.
Yes, my oldest she's a sergeant, and then staff select, and then my son is a corporal.
Oh, congratulations on her being a staff select.
I
That's
know,
awesome.
isn't that cool?
That's awesome. We're gonna touch upon a little bit more because there's a lot of military parents that look at our podcast, right? And send their podcast to their kids. How was that experience for you? Obviously, you're in military.
Yeah.
But as a mother, your first was what was it, daughter? The first one that approached you.
Yep.
It was like, Mom, I'm joining the military.
Yep.
How was that for you?
Do it.
Wow.
I looked at it in the context of like your college experience of 4 years based on your Marine Corps experience of 4 years. And I looked at it in the terms of what's the worst that could happen. In the in college, you might get an investigation. But in the military, you're going to get an investigation. At the minimum, you're going to get an investigation. So where is she safest? Where is there more opportunities?
Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt. So you're saying that, because I like that comment,
Yeah.
because we get a bad rap in the military for all this sexual, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Misconduct.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I tell people like, hey, man, we need a lot of work in the military. I'm not taking away from that. But at the same time, we got a lot of processes in place.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do. So at a minimum, you're going to get an investigation. Does that mean that there's going to be a conviction or anything like that? Not. Yeah. But in college,
the civilian world, they don't care.
You may or may not get something.
And if you're at a job, a corporate, they'll be looking for a reason to fire you.
Yeah.
You're gone.
And so going to college, you're going to get the experience of a degree. Well, you can get that in your first 4 years in the military because your TA starts the day you show up to your first duty station. You can begin going to college. So you could leave the institution with a degree, with veterans preference, with 4 years of experience in an MOS. And, for me, it was safer, to be honest with you.
Now, how was it when your daughter graduated from boot camp and then she started getting through some of the experiences? And she will call you up. Did you guys have that communications like, Mom,
to this day,
this happened.
Yes.
This happened to me.
Well, but hold on. Like, was it boot camps? You got to talk to her.
I didn't.
She didn't call you for like her first phone call?
Oh yeah, you talking about the
What was going through your mind? Were you like, okay, drill instructors, you should be ITing her every day?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was hoping.
Did you send her anything funny in boot camp?
No, I didn't do any of that.
Okay,
I didn't do any of that. But I was hoping that their experience was
hardcore.
Hard. Yeah, I wanted them to feel the accomplishment of doing something.
Gotcha. What is her MOS if you don't
She's
mind?
a 0431.
Oh, she's the same MOS.
Yes.
Oh, so she really got you. Now, how was that experience whenever your daughter? Because essentially, what I wanted to relate it is like what advice is the advice that you give to your daughter the same piece of advice that you would give any other random female Marine?
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, so let's say your daughter. What were some of the most common things that your daughter will call you and shared with you? That obviously that you can share with us.
Yeah, the difference between military kids and everybody else's kids is like they've been living this lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like the uniform isn't exactly like a scary thing for them. They grew up with this,
Yeah.
And so their frustration level with leadership is different than it is with Marines who don't really know anything.
Because they're putting that leader up against, that's my mom. My mom's a master gun.
Yeah, and I have to...
My mom would have never even said whatever.
And I have to remind them sometimes, they've only been in the Marine Corps 6 years, Lauren or Kaden. Like, you can't give them the same expectations of what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time.
It's a sergeant major. You can't blame him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
But they're very smart when it comes to, like, they know what you should be doing. They know. And I over the course of the last few years, I think Sergeant Major Seau had some kids, one or two of his sons was in the Marine Corps. There's a lot. We have a lot of senior enlisted leaders that have kids in the service. If you're a staff NCO, you never know whose kid you're going to get.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. When I was a drill instructor, we used to ask, and even as a leader, I would ask, who's your family members? Mm-hmm. Because there's always someone out there.
They know.
Oh, yeah, my dad, he's a retired brigadier general. He was a lawyer in the Marine Corps. You're like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tighten it up.
Yeah, so they do know. They know what's expected of them and what they should be expecting from their leadership.
Sure.
And so when that's not happening, I think Lauren would be more frustrated with it than my son. But
how was it your daughter being the same MOS as you? Did she ever use the my mom is the no?
No, we don't do that.
You wouldn't allow it?
Yeah, I won't allow it, but they need to have their own experience. You know what I mean? Like you need to, I don't ever want you to feel like you got something because of me.
Okay, but can I ask you a little deeper question on that?
Sure.
Like, is there a situation where maybe, let's say, one of your kids calls you and says, I don't want these orders.
Yeah.
Would you say, you're taking them?
No.
Would you say, hey, maybe this isn't the right move?
Yeah, let me see what I can do.
Let me see what I can do. Okay.
Yeah, let me see what I can do.
I like that.
I mean,
the
if you're not
advantage is
willing
there.
to help your kids, what
Yeah.
are they here for?
Yeah.
But there
If you
also
ain't willing
comes
to
a
help your
time.
kids, you ain't even willing to help your Marines.
Yeah,
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But if we all know, especially when you're at a senior enlisted level, like there's certain things that I'm not going to be able to get you out of. You know what I might be able to delay something, but you go in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have to go, and you need to make decisions like that for yourself.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Guys, this has been a great conversation
Super
so
awesome.
far. I think that how are we looking at time? Yes, we still got some time. We still got Master Guns for a little bit more. So we're going to be doing a part 2 of this podcast, okay, guys? So make sure that you guys go right here to any of these places that you guys are seeing on the screen right now and tap on any other video. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe this video. Make sure that you guys follow me and all of my social media. And Barry, where can people find you at?
Instagram at Bull5277, TikTok at Bull52772. Click the link in the bio, schedule a call. The call is free. The change is free.
We are going to continue the conversation with Master Gunnery Sergeant Jones. I will tell you this. We're going to be talking about her on what are her plans after she gets out of the military, right? So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what are her plans during this last year, and we're going to be wrapping up the interview. Ma'am, where can people find you at?
on TikTok, Master Gunnery Sergeant 0491. I don't have Instagram. Sorry, guys. But that's where you can find me. You can email me, chelsea.jones@usmc.mil. I'm there. That's where you can get me.
Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next one.